The arrival. Dr. Sarah Chen pressed her coffee cup against her lips and stared at the impossible readings flowing across her monitor screens. The Deep Space Monitoring Station in Chile had been her home for the past 3 years, tracking asteroids and monitoring cosmic phenomena. In all that time, she had never seen anything like the data streaming before her eyes. The massive radio telescope array had detected something extraordinary moving through the outer reaches of the solar system. Not one object, but thousands of them, each one massive enough to dwarf the largest spacecraft humanity had ever built. They moved in perfect formation, decelerating as they approached the inner solar system with the precision that could only mean one thing: intelligence. Sarah ran the calculations again, hoping she had made an error. The numbers remained unchanged. Over 15,000 individual spacecraft, each one approximately 2 kilometers in length, were heading directly toward Earth. Their estimated time of arrival was less than 6 hours. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for the emergency communication device that connected directly to Earth Defense Command. In 30 years of astronomical research, she had never imagined she would need to use it. The call was answered immediately. Earth Defense Command. This is Admiral Marcus Kane. Admiral, this is Dr. Chen at Deep Space Monitoring Station Alpha. I'm transmitting Priority 1 contact data. We have multiple unknown spacecraft approaching Earth at high velocity. There was a pause that lasted several heartbeats. How many spacecraft, Dr. Chen? 15,000, sir. All of them massive. They'll reach Earth orbit in approximately 5 hours and 40 minutes. Admiral Kane had served in Earth's military for 42 years. He had planned for terrorist attacks, natural disasters, and even theoretical alien contact scenarios. But 15,000 hostile spacecraft was beyond every contingency plan humanity had ever developed. Within minutes of Sarah's call, emergency protocols activated across the globe. World leaders received priority alerts that pulled them from meetings and sleep. Military bases around the planet shifted to maximum alert status. Deep underground bunkers that most people didn't know existed began powering up systems that had waited decades for activation. At the Calarian Dominion flagship, Overlord Thex reviewed the tactical analysis of the primitive world his fleet approached. His reptilian features showed satisfaction as he studied the data. Earth appeared to be a standard pre-space civilization, exactly the type of world the Dominion specialized in conquering. The planet showed basic industrial development and simple satellite networks. Their space presence was minimal, consisting of a few research stations and primitive chemical-fueled rockets. Most importantly, the planet showed no signs of advanced military technology or space-based defenses. It would be another easy conquest for the Dominion's ever-expanding empire. Thex had conquered 47 worlds in his career. Each victory followed the same pattern: arrive with overwhelming force, demand immediate surrender, crush any resistance, and claim the planet's resources for the Dominion. Primitive species always surrendered quickly when faced with superior technology and impossible odds. Communications Officer, Thex commanded, prepare the standard surrender demand. Make sure it reaches every communication device on the planet. Yes, Overlord. The message will be transmitted in all major languages detected from their broadcasts. Back on Earth, President Maria Santos sat in the emergency bunker beneath Washington, D.C., surrounded by her top military advisors and world leaders connected via secure communication links. The massive wall screens showed tracking data of the approaching alien fleet, with countdown timers displaying their estimated arrival. What are our options? President Santos asked, though she feared she already knew the answer. General Patricia Williams, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, consulted her tactical briefing. Madam President, our combined global military forces include approximately 8,000 combat aircraft, 600 naval vessels capable of surface-to-air engagement, and our complete nuclear arsenal. Against 15,000 spacecraft of unknown capability, our conventional forces would be insufficient. Dr. James Mitchell, the President's science advisor, had been studying the alien fleet's approach pattern. He looked up from his analysis with a grim expression. The energy signatures we're detecting suggest these ships use fusion-based propulsion systems. That indicates a technological level significantly beyond our current capabilities, but not impossibly advanced. They're using technology we understand in principle, just executed on a much larger scale. Are you saying we might have a chance? The president asked. I'm saying they may not be as invincible as their numbers suggest. If they were truly superior, they would be using more exotic technologies. These ships are powerful, but they're using physics we comprehend. President Santos looked around the room at faces filled with determination despite the impossible odds. What about our special projects? The classified research programs? Admiral Kane stepped forward. Madam President, we have several experimental programs that were designed for exactly this type of scenario. Project Deep Shield has been operational for 8 years. Project Prometheus has reached full capability status. Both programs were developed based on recovered technology and theoretical physics breakthroughs that we've kept classified. How classified? These programs don't officially exist. The technology involved was deemed too dangerous for public knowledge. We've been preparing for the possibility of contact with hostile advanced civilizations since the first confirmed UFO encounters in the 1990s. Across the globe, people looked up at the sky with growing fear and fascination. News broadcasts showed distant points of light that grew brighter by the hour. Social media filled with speculation, prayers, and conspiracy theories. In major cities, some people fled while others gathered in public spaces, watching the sky and waiting. But in secret facilities buried deep underground, a different kind of preparation was taking place. Systems that had been maintained in perfect readiness for decades began their final activation sequences. Personnel who had trained their entire careers for a scenario they hoped would never occur took their positions at control stations. Colonel Rebecca Martinez sat in the command center of Project Deep Shield, a facility so classified that it didn't appear on any government budget or organizational chart. Around her, dozens of technicians prepared systems that represented humanity's greatest technological achievements, built from a combination of human ingenuity and technology recovered from crashed alien vessels over the past 50 years. All stations report ready status, her operations officer announced. Excellent. Maintain standby condition until we receive authorization from Earth Defense Command. The alien fleet entered Earth's orbital space exactly on schedule. The 15,000 spacecraft arranged themselves in a perfect sphere around the planet, each ship maintaining precise distance from its neighbors. It was a formation designed to demonstrate overwhelming power while preventing any possibility of escape. Overlord Thex stood on his command bridge, satisfied with the deployment. His fleet had Earth completely trapped. No ship could leave, no signal could escape without his permission. The humans were about to learn what happened when primitive species encountered the might of the Calarian Dominion. Begin transmission of surrender demands, he ordered. Across Earth, every television screen, computer monitor, and communication device suddenly displayed the same image. Overlord Thex's reptilian face appeared, his golden eyes reflecting the cold calculation of a species that had conquered dozens of worlds. People of Earth, the translated message began. I am Overlord Thex of the Calarian Dominion. Your world is now surrounded by our conquest fleet. You have 4 hours to surrender completely and unconditionally. Your military forces will stand down. Your leaders will present themselves for processing. Your advanced technology will be transferred to Dominion control. The message continued for several minutes, explaining the terms of Earth's integration into the Dominion as a servant world. Humanity would be allowed to survive as workers, mining resources, and providing labor for the Empire's continued expansion. Resistance would result in the complete destruction of human civilization and the strip mining of Earth's resources. When the transmission ended, the countdown began. 4 hours until humanity's deadline. Dr. Sarah Chen watched the alien message from her monitoring station, feeling a mixture of fear and amazement. The technology required to hijack every communication system on Earth simultaneously was impressive, but as she studied the energy patterns from the alien fleet, she noticed something interesting. Their ships are using standard fusion drives, she muttered to herself. Plasma-based weapons systems, electromagnetic shielding. This is advanced technology, but it's not exotic physics. It's engineering we can understand. She opened a secure channel to Admiral Kane. Admiral, I'm sending you detailed analysis of the alien fleet's technological signatures. These ships are powerful, but they're not using physics beyond our comprehension. Their technology appears to be several decades ahead of our public capabilities, but possibly comparable to our classified research. Admiral Kane received the analysis just as President Santos asked the question that would determine humanity's fate. Admiral, are we going to surrender, or are we going to fight? Kane looked at the data from Dr. Chen, then at the readiness reports from Projects Deep Shield and Prometheus. After 50 years of preparation, using technology that the public didn't know existed, humanity was about to discover if their hidden capabilities were sufficient to defend their world. Madam President, Admiral Kane said, I recommend we show these aliens why attacking Earth was the biggest mistake their empire ever made. The countdown timer showed 3 hours and 47 minutes remaining when President Santos gave the authorization that would change galactic history. All special projects are authorized. Show them what humanity is really capable of. The Reckoning. Captain Elena Rodriguez had been waiting for this moment her entire career. Standing on the bridge of the UES Defiance, humanity's most advanced spacecraft, she watched her tactical displays show the alien fleet surrounding Earth. For 12 years, she had trained for this exact scenario, commanding a ship that officially didn't exist, using technology that violated several laws of physics. The Defiance and her sister ships had been built in orbital shipyards hidden behind the moon, constructed using a combination of human engineering and alien technology recovered from crashes dating back to 1947. Humanity had spent decades reverse engineering crashed UFOs, developing weapons and defenses that their enemies couldn't imagine. All ships report ready status, Captain, her communications officer announced. Elena looked at her fleet status display. 48 human vessels hung in space around Earth, each one invisible to alien sensors thanks to quantum cloaking technology. The alien fleet of 15,000 ships had no idea they were surrounded by humanity's hidden guardian fleet. Signal from Earth Defense Command, her communications officer continued. Operation Prometheus is authorized. All units are cleared for immediate engagement. Elena smiled. The aliens had made their first mistake by coming to Earth. They were about to make their final mistake by underestimating humanity. At the Deep Space Monitoring Station, Dr. Sarah Chen detected the first signs of humanity's response. Energy readings unlike anything in conventional physics began appearing around Earth. Space itself seemed to ripple as invisible objects moved through dimensions that shouldn't exist. My God, she whispered, what have we built? Admiral Kane stood in Earth Defense Command, watching displays that showed humanity's true military capability for the first time. The 48 ships of the Prometheus fleet were humanity's greatest secret, each one equipped with weapons that could rewrite the fundamental laws of reality in localized areas. All Prometheus vessels, this is Earth Defense Command. You are authorized to engage. Show them why Earth is not a world to be conquered. Overlord Thex noticed the first anomaly when his sensors detected impossible energy signatures appearing throughout the space around his fleet. His science officer studied the readings with growing confusion. Overlord, we're detecting massive power sources appearing around our formation, but no visible ships. Impossible. Run a full spectrum scan. Sir, the energy signatures suggest technology that manipulates quantum fields and gravitational forces. This level of physics manipulation should be beyond a primitive civilization. Thex felt the first touch of concern. In 47 previous conquests, he had never encountered technology that his sensors couldn't identify and analyze. Captain Elena Rodriguez gave the order that ended the Calarian Dominion's expansion forever. All ships, decloak and engage. Let's show them what Earth is capable of. 48 human vessels suddenly appeared throughout the alien fleet formation. They didn't fly into position like conventional spacecraft. Instead, they simply materialized as quantum cloaking fields deactivated, revealing ships that moved through space like they owned it. The UES Defiance moved with impossible grace, its gravity manipulation drive allowing it to accelerate and turn in ways that violated everything the aliens knew about space travel. Around Earth, 47 other human ships demonstrated technology that the Calarian Dominion had never encountered. Open communications with the alien fleet, Elena ordered. Overlord Thex's main screen activated, showing a human female in a crisp military uniform. Captain Rodriguez looked directly at him with calm, confident eyes. Overlord Thex of the Calarian Dominion, I am Captain Rodriguez of the United Earth Space Force. You have threatened our world and demanded our surrender. We decline your terms. Thex's reptilian features showed confusion and growing anger. Human, you are outnumbered 300 to 1. Surrender immediately or face destruction. Elena's smile was not pleasant. Overlord, you've made several critical errors. First, you assumed that numbers matter when technology is vastly superior. Second, you assumed that our 48 ships represent our full capability. Third, you assumed that Earth was defenseless. What do you mean? I mean that humanity has been preparing for this moment for 75 years. We've been studying your technology, improving upon it, and developing weapons that your empire cannot comprehend. We've been watching your expansion across the galaxy, learning your tactics, and preparing our response. Elena's voice became colder. You have one opportunity to withdraw your fleet and return to your empire with a message. Earth is not a world to be conquered. We are not a species to be enslaved. Leave now, or discover why human beings are the most dangerous species in this galaxy. Overlord Thex looked at his tactical displays. His 15,000 ships surrounded the planet, but somehow 48 human vessels had appeared among his fleet without being detected. His sensors still couldn't get clear readings on their capabilities. Pride warred with survival instincts. The Calarian Dominion had never retreated, never shown weakness to any enemy. They were the conquerors of the galaxy. All ships, Thex broadcast across his fleet, attack the human vessels. Show these primitives the power of the Dominion. Elena heard the alien transmission and shook her head sadly. Admiral Kane, the aliens have chosen combat. All human ships, you are cleared for full engagement. Demonstrate Earth's defensive capabilities. What happened next would be remembered across the galaxy for centuries. The Battle of Earth lasted exactly 7 minutes and 43 seconds. It would not be remembered as a battle. It would be remembered as a demonstration of what happened when an empire made the mistake of attacking humanity. The Calarian fleet opened fire with plasma cannons that could melt mountains. 15,000 ships unleashed their full firepower at the 48 human vessels. Every shot missed. The human ships didn't dodge the incoming fire. They simply weren't there when the weapons reached their positions. Quantum probability drives ensured that every enemy attack occurred in a reality where the human ships were somewhere else. Captain Rodriguez gave the order that ended an empire. All ships, return fire. Show them what Earth science can accomplish. The UES Defiance fired its primary weapon, a device that manipulated the fundamental constants of physics within a localized area. The targeted alien ship didn't explode or burn. It simply stopped existing, erased from reality, as if it had never been built. Captain Sarah Kim aboard the UES Vengeance used her ship's temporal displacement cannon. The weapon fired bursts of accelerated time that aged enemy vessels millions of years in seconds. Mighty warships that had conquered worlds became ancient scrap metal in the blink of an eye. Commander David Park commanded the UES Thunder, equipped with gravitational manipulation weapons. His ship created micro-singularities that consumed entire squadrons of alien vessels. The enemy fleet fired desperately at the tiny black holes, but their plasma bolts simply added energy to the growing gravitational wells. Dr. Sarah Chen watched the battle from her monitoring station, her instruments barely able to track what was happening. The human ships were using weapons that violated every law of physics she knew, yet somehow they worked perfectly. On the ISS, astronaut commander Lisa Wang had the best view of humanity's demonstration. She watched as alien ships disappeared faster than she could count them. Space around Earth, which had been filled with a threatening armada minutes before, was rapidly becoming empty. Houston, this is ISS. The alien fleet is being systematically destroyed. How is this possible? ISS, maintain observation. You're witnessing the activation of humanity's true defensive capabilities. Overlord Thex watched his fleet disappear with growing horror. His tactical displays showed ships vanishing in ways that defied explanation. Some aged into scrap metal, others were compressed into gravitational singularities. Still others simply ceased to exist as if the universe had forgotten they were ever built. Return fire, he screamed. All ships, concentrate your attacks. But it was hopeless. Every plasma bolt, every particle beam, every exotic weapon in the Dominion arsenal either missed completely or had no effect. The human ships moved through the alien attacks like they controlled the fundamental forces of reality. Commander Rebecca Torres used her ship's matter conversion array to transform enemy vessels into harmless gas clouds. Massive battleships became wisps of hydrogen dissipating into space. Captain Michael Chen employed quantum virus weapons that infected alien ship computers, turning their own systems against them. Dominion vessels began firing on each other as their technology was rewritten by human programs that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The destruction was so rapid and complete that within 5 minutes, only a few hundred alien ships remained from the original 15,000. They floated in space, their weapons silent, their crews paralyzed by the impossibility of what they had witnessed. Captain Rodriguez opened communications one final time. Overlord Thex, your fleet has been neutralized. You have approximately 200 ships remaining. This is your final opportunity to withdraw and carry a message to your empire. Thex stared at his displays in shock. In less than 8 minutes, humanity had destroyed over 14,000 of his ships using weapons that shouldn't exist. His sensors still couldn't understand how the human technology worked. What are you? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. We are human beings, Alina replied. We are the species that takes crashed alien technology and improves it. We are the species that plans for threats decades in advance. We are the species that unify our entire world to prepare for this moment. She paused, her voice becoming deadly serious. We are the species that you should never have threatened. The surviving Calarian ships began their retreat, carrying news that would change the galaxy forever. Earth was not a primitive world to be conquered. Humanity was not a species to be enslaved. The blue planet orbiting an ordinary yellow star had just become the most feared world in known space. As the alien fleet disappeared into the depths of space, President Santos addressed the world. Citizens of Earth, today we face the greatest threat in human history. Today we discovered that we are not alone in the universe, but we also discovered something more important. We are not helpless. For 75 years, in secret, humanity has prepared for this day. We took crashed alien technology and made it better. We unified our species around a single goal, the defense of our world. Today, that preparation saved our civilization. Admiral Kane watched the tactical displays as the last alien ships vanished from Earth's vicinity. Around the planet, the 48 ships of the Prometheus fleet maintained their protective formation, no longer hidden but standing guard over humanity's home. Dr. Sarah Chen received a priority message from Earth Defense Command. Dr. Chen, your monitoring station has been upgraded to Class 1 Deep Space Observatory. Congratulations on your new assignment as Director of Alien Contact Studies. She smiled as she looked up at the stars. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, but they had proven they could defend themselves. The galaxy was about to learn that Earth was not a world to be conquered. In the weeks that followed, reports reached Earth of the message spreading throughout known space. The Calarian Dominion, one of the galaxy's most powerful empires, had been utterly defeated by a single human fleet. Other alien civilizations began to reconsider their expansion plans that included the small blue planet. Earth had announced its presence to the galaxy in the most definitive way possible. Humanity was now a galactic power, and their message was clear. Earth stands ready to defend itself, and any species that threatens humanity will face the full force of human ingenuity, determination, and technological superiority. The age of human expansion into the galaxy was about to begin, but it would begin on humanity's terms. Earth had proven that being underestimated was the greatest mistake any enemy could make when facing the human species.